Imagine you're a federal prosecutor. You got a rapper on trial for murder. Your evidence is decent, but not airtight. You need something that removes all doubt from the jury's mind. Then, one of your investigators pulls up a music video. And in that music video, the defendant himself is on camera chasing down someone who looks exactly like the victim and shooting him. You don't need a confession after that.
So in the music video, dog, in the music video, this is reading fans saying slot for Von, slot for Von, slot for Von, slot for Von. Then he puts down the phone, grabs his pistol, and go ahead and shoot and kill Quando Rondo.
What a idiot.
Dog, at this point, yo, bruh.
That's why I be saying it's about perception, because what jury, I don't give a what the evidence is. What jury gonna see this? Just them three things you just showed me. What jury gonna see it and be like, oh, hey, me ain't do that?
Come on, bro. Son, dog, you text your homies, hey, I'm not gonna let this slide. I'm merchant. Then you told the same people, hey, I got a bounty. And then 3 months later, you film a music video where you are hawking down Quando Rondo and them after reading Slot for Vontex. Bro, hey, fan, listen, man. To any who's out here still saying that Durk got a chance, hey, man, good luck, all right?
That's not a theory. That's not a rumor from Twitter. That is what is sitting inside Lil Durk's federal indictment right now. And today, we're going to break down exactly how a music video became the most dangerous piece of evidence in one of the biggest rap trials of this decade. Before we get into the music video, you need to understand what the feds just did, because this is the move that changed everything. For 2 years, 2 full years, we heard the same story. Lil Durk is charged with murder for hire. Open and shut. He paid people to kill Quando Rondo's cousin. Case closed. Except it wasn't closed.
The feds just made a move on the chessboard that almost guarantees Lil Durk is gonna do life in prison. This is bad. I don't see how Lil Durk gets out of this, man. The feds realized a while ago that their case against Lil Durk when it comes to murder for hire is pretty weak, especially when you can't really articulate or list exactly what the reward was. Is murder for hire, so what did he pay them? They first came across with a money amount. Then they said it was for music opportunities, but all the people who committed this crime with Lil Durk was already under OTF, the umbrella. So it's unclear what the music opportunity was. So because the feds understand this case was weak, the feds came back with a more concrete case, with a case that essentially locks Lil Durk in. There's no way out of this at all.
The feds quietly realized their murder for hire case had a serious problem. Murder for hire sounds simple, but legally, you have to prove payment. You have to show exactly what someone was paid to commit the murder. And here's where it got embarrassing for the prosecution. First, they said he paid in money. Then they said actually it was music opportunities. But wait, the people who committed this crime were already signed under Durk's label OTF. So what exactly was the opportunity? You see the problem. The feds had a case that looked strong from the outside, but had holes you could drive a truck through. And they knew it. So 11 weeks before trial, 11 weeks, they came back with something completely different. Racketeering.
Little Durk update. We have a whole new indictment. What does the indictment say? Well, let's think about this for a second. 11 weeks before trial, guy locked up for 2 years, and the government basically says, you know what, murder for hire, forget about that case. Let's do a new case, racketeering. These new racketeering charges tell you everything about where this case stands. For 2 years, you've heard that this is a very simple, straightforward, open and shut. We got all the evidence. They killed his friend. He paid people to go kill them. Well, that theory is now being broadly expanded so that the idea that this is murder for hire, no. The feds say, throw that out.
Now, this isn't just a charge upgrade. This is a completely different legal strategy. With racketeering, they don't have to prove Durk personally ordered every murder. They just have to prove he was the leader of a criminal enterprise and that enterprise committed these crimes. And once they opened that door, everything came in. 2019, 2020, 2022, every shooting, every body, every text message, every group chat, all of it now relevant. All of it now in front of the jury. One lawyer on this podcast said it perfectly.
If you had an open and shut murder for hire case for a 2022 murder, why is it that weeks before you're about to go to trial and cook the kid, you're adding racketeering charges and murders in different states from 3 different years and calling this the bank's violent gang enterprise. Look, I get why you're doing it. They're doing it because they need to get all this other evidence in before the jury so that the jury can say, oh yeah, this is a bad guy. Let's cook this guy. And whether any of that evidence has any weight, whether any of that evidence has any truth, here's the truth. The fact that they need it.
If your original case was truly open and shut, why are you adding racketeering charges 11 weeks before trial? Why are you pulling in murders from 3 different states and 3 different years? The answer is simple. The original case wasn't as strong as they told you. But the new case is built different. And the music video is the reason why. To understand why the music video is so devastating, you need to go back to November 2020, the night King Von died. Because that's where the feds say everything changed for Lil Durk. King Von wasn't just Durk's artist. He was his brother, his right hand, the person he built OTF with from the ground up. When Von died outside that Atlanta hookah lounge, shot by Quando Rondo's associate, Timothy Leaks, something in Durk reportedly snapped. And he put it in writing.
Vonnie, Kayvon Grant, and another guy, one of the shooters. So Vonnie, they said, was the guy who bought all the guns and arranged all the travel, and he was the orchestrator of this. Then they got this other guy, Keith Jones. He's one of the shooters. Well, both of those guys are off the indictment, suggesting that they have cooperated, taken pleas, but
according to the federal indictment, the day after King Von died, Lil Durk sent a text to co-conspirators. And in that text, he wrote words that are now sitting in federal court documents. He said, King Von's death turned him into a different animal. He said he was not going to let this slide. Now think about what that means legally. The feds now have motive in writing in Durk's own words set to the same people who would later be involved in multiple shootings targeting Quando Rondo. But it gets worse. Shortly after those texts, Durk allegedly told those same co-conspirators there was a bounty, a monetary reward for anyone who handled Quando Rondo.
After King Von way, again, this is where they say, yo, this is premeditation. Lil Durk texted co-conspirator 3 and said, I can't let this slide. I ain't letting slide. King Von dying turned me into a different animal.
Oh no.
Man, listen, bro. These, I'll be real,
So now the feds have text number 1, I'm not letting this slide. Text number 2, there's a bounty. And the same people who received those texts are now listed as co-conspirators who participated in multiple attempts on Quando Rondo's life. But here's what makes this different from every other rap case you've seen. Durk didn't stop at texts. He made a music video about 3 months after King Von died. Lil Durk filmed a music video. The song was called Red Man. It was never officially released, but the feds found it. And what's in that video is, I don't even have the right word for it.
Now, he told these people who are coming to court to testify that he would pay a bounty or a monetary reward to anyone who took part in the killing of King Von. No, of Quando Rondo's cousin, right? So again, he sent a text saying, King Von's murder turned me into a different animal. I'm not gonna let this slide. Mm-hmm. There's people, the same people he texted this to, okay? They're now coming to testify, hey, Lil Durk told us there's a bounty on Quando Rondo.
In the video, according to the federal indictment, Lil Durk is depicted chasing down and shooting an actor who looks substantially similar to Quando Rondo. The same Quando Rondo whose cousin was later murdered. The same Quando Rondo whose crew killed King Von. But that's not the part that makes your stomach drop. The part that makes your stomach drop is what Durk allegedly does before the shooting scene starts. He picks up his phone. He reads posts about King Von's death. He puts the phone down. He picks up his gun. Think about what a prosecutor does with that in front of a jury. They don't need to explain motive. The defendant already explained it on camera in his own creative vision. He showed exactly what was in his mind. Grief turning into rage, turning into violence. And this is the part where I need you to really understand something about federal cases. Because a lot of people watching this are still saying, that's just a music video. Rappers make violent music videos all the time. This doesn't prove anything, and normally they'd have a point. But this isn't a random violent video. This video comes 3 months after the murder of King Von. It features someone who looks like the specific person Durk sent texts about. It is listed in a federal indictment alongside those texts, and it exists in the same timeline as 2 actual real-world attempts on Quando Rondo's life. As the host in this podcast said, I don't care what the evidence is. What jury is going to see those 3 things? Text saying, I'm not letting this slide bounty announcement music video shooting. Quando lookalike and vote not guilty? Come on. Here's where the story stops being about a music video and starts being about real bodies. May 2nd, 2021, Blackshear, Georgia, a gas station. Quando Rondo is at a concert nearby. And according to the federal indictment, members of OTF follow his entourage to a gas station and they open fire. Now, for years, people said this was internet speculation, cloud chasing, no proof. But here's the thing about federal indictments. They don't write things in there that they can't back up. The indictment places Lil Durk through co-conspirators at the center of this shooting. And the detail that connects everything, the people at that gas station, they're the same people who received the texts, the same people who knew about the bounty, the same people in Durk's circle who were with him during the 2019 King Von shooting in Atlanta. This is what racketeering is designed to do. When the feds show a jury these same people, same group, same communication, multiple crimes over multiple years, it stops looking like coincidence. It starts looking like an organization, a criminal enterprise with a leader. And the leader they're pointing at is Lil Durk. Now let's talk about something the streets don't want to hear. OTF Vonnie, also known as Kavon Grant. For a long time, the internet was split on whether Vonnie was cooperating. Then the new indictment dropped, and Vonnie's name was gone. Not as a defendant, not as a co-conspirator, just gone.
So in the music video, in the music video, this is reading fans saying slide for Von, slide for Von, slide for Von, slide for Von. Then he puts down the phone, grabs his pistol, and go ahead and shoot and kill Quando Rondo.
What a idiot.
Dog, at this point, yo, bruh.
That's why I be saying it's about perception, because what jury, I don't give a what the evidence is. What jury gonna see this? Just them 3 things you just showed me. What jury gonna see it and be like, oh, hey, me ain't do that?
Come on, bro. Son, dog, you text your homies, hey, I'm not gonna let this slide. I'm merchant. Then you told the same people, hey, I got a bounty. And then 3 months later, you film a music video where you are hawking down Quando Rondo and them after reading Slot for Von text. Bro, hey, fan, listen, man. To any who's out here still saying that Durk got a chance, hey, man, good luck, all right?
In federal cases, when someone disappears from an indictment, there are 2 possibilities. Either the government decided they don't have enough on them, which almost never happens this close to trial, or they flipped. Vonnie was described in the original indictment as the person who bought all the guns, arranged all the travel, orchestrated the logistics. If that person is now sitting across the table from federal prosecutors, telling them everything he knows about every trip, every phone call, every decision that was made, Lil Durk's defense team has a serious problem.
Bro, cause they been saying Vonnie was snitching before, the day they got
Vonnie daddy said he was snitching, right?
What?
Bro, Vonnie got some questions we want to know, man. So, all right. So, Lil Durk was initially charged with murder for hire.
And Vonnie wasn't alone. Keith Jones, one of the alleged shooters, also disappeared from the indictment. So now you have the organizer and one of the shooters both potentially testifying for the government against the man they used to ride for. The streets built Lil Durk up, and now the streets might be what brings him down. Everything we've talked about so far is connected to Quando Rondo, but the indictment goes further. Stephen Mack, Durk's older brother, murdered in 2021. Chicago police said publicly Lil Durk was not a suspect. Case closed, move on. Except the feds didn't move on.
How are they able to charge him with this if Chicago has released a statement saying Lil Durk is not a suspect.
I was saying this is what I was saying when I was reading the indictment earlier.
Yeah.
Like, I think even when Lil Durk got his case got dropped in Atlanta with the King Von shooting, the attempted murder, I really think that I wouldn't be surprised if the feds was like, yeah, let him go. Don't worry, we got him. Don't let him think he good. Go drop the charges. Go ahead and make this little public statement, because police lie all the time. Like, it ain't nothing for them.
Here's what the podcast breaks down that most people missed. When Chicago dropped those charges, the feds may have been behind that decision. Let him feel safe. Let him think he beat it. Meanwhile, cook him from the federal side where the rules are different and the sentences are longer. And what connected Durk to his brother's murder in the eyes of federal prosecutors? A prison cell conversation. One of the convicted killers already behind bars allegedly told his cellmate that Durk was involved in arranging the murder. That conversation, that cellmate's testimony, is now part of the federal case.
When you got one of the convicted killers, you got him in a cell talking to his cellmate, pretty much admitting to the fact that, yeah, Durk paid us this, and then he gave us this, then he gave us that. Then you got the $1 million worth of game interview where he brought $1 million cash, and the same that killed Stephon Mack just so happened to be at the interview with the $1 million cash. So I don't be looking at.
And then there's the $1 million worth of game interview. The same interview where Gilly the Kid and Wallow were talking to Durk, and sitting right there in that same interview were allegedly the same people connected to Stephon Mack's death. Not a coincidence the feds will let go. Here's the part of this story that genuinely makes me sad, because this isn't just a legal case anymore. This is about a man who grew up in one of the most violent zip codes in America, who watched friends die, who lost his brother, who built himself from nothing into a global superstar, and who might spend the rest of his life in federal prison.
And even though they use your company credit card, man, good luck, bro. Why do you think Durk hasn't taken his plea deal yet?
Because I think street are some of the most delusional people in the world. Like, everything about a street, I feel like, is delusional. Like, from the ain't nobody gonna do me. How ain't nobody gonna do you? You got 100 dead homies. You done got shot 52 times. No, don't worry, bro. You good on my block. How I'm good on your block, and you got 100 that got killed on the block. They just all delusional. Like, they move around like they bulletproof, like they gonna beat the feds. Like, it's all, you ever heard of?
The podcast host said something that stuck with me. He said, street people are some of the most delusional people in the world. Not as an insult, as an observation. Because when you grow up in an environment where survival requires you to believe nothing can touch you, that mindset doesn't turn off when the federal government comes knocking. Durk has racketeering. He has conspiracy. He has murder in aid of racketeering. Every single one of those charges can carry a life sentence, and he's fighting all of them with nothing to back them up.
I've been saying he been cooked from the very beginning. Hell,
why?
Because the feds don't need evidence. All they need to do is convince a jury, and it's about perception, bro. It's all. I feel like it's all. I ain't never been to court, like real federal court or nothing, so I ain't got too much sauce on it. But like, one thing I know about the feds is, like, they don't need like, it gotta be on camera or it gotta be text messages. Like, when they put that pressure on you, I feel like first of all, I feel like somebody gonna fold.
His lawyer is Brian Steele, who you may remember from the Diddy case, which Diddy lost, and the Young Thug YSL case, which ended in a guilty plea. Brian Steele markets himself as the man who can beat the feds, but the record doesn't match the reputation. And with a jury that's about to see texts, bounties, a music video, co-conspirators turned government witnesses, and a pattern of violence spanning 4 years across multiple states, what exactly is the defense? Lil Durk is not the first rapper to face this. He won't be the last. Young Thug, Gunna, Roddy Ricch, NBA Youngboy, the list of artists who've had their lyrics, videos, and social media posts used as evidence against them keeps growing. And every single time the conversation is the same. This is an attack on hip-hop. They're criminalizing the culture. The music isn't real. But here's the uncomfortable truth that nobody in the culture wants to say out loud. At some point, the art and the life become the same thing. When you film a music video of yourself shooting someone who looks like your real-life enemy 3 months after texting your crew about a bounty on that same enemy, and then members of your crew actually attempt to kill that enemy multiple times, that's not music anymore. That's a documentary. I'm not here to judge Durk's life. I'm not here to say what he should or shouldn't have done in streets that gave him no easy options. But I am here to tell you what the evidence says. And the evidence says the feds came prepared this time. They studied the case, they found the weaknesses in their own argument.
They rebuilt it from the ground up. They flipped his people. They found the video. And now 11 weeks before trial, Lil Durk is facing the possibility of never being a free man again. Here's what I want you to think about after this video. We talk about these cases like they're entertainment. And yeah, I make content about them. You watch content about them. But behind every indictment is a real person, real families, real consequences that last generations. Lil Durk grew up watching people he loved die. He made music about pain that millions of people connected to. And now if the feds are right, that same pain, that same loyalty, that same street code is going to be the reason he dies in a prison cell. The music video is still out there. The texts are in the indictment. The witnesses are cooperating. And the trial hasn't even started yet. Drop in the comments, do you think Lil Durk should take a plea deal? Or do you think Brian Steele can actually pull this off? Because from where I'm standing, the feds didn't come to lose.